I was muted. Hey, good morning, boys and girls. We'll try this again. 25,498 days old today. And I'm getting some interference. And that's cool because I'm coming up on 25,500. I don't know what's going to happen on that day, but it's going to be my birthday. Anyway, so what's going on? Yesterday, Otangelo and David Neff had a debate on Standing for Truth channel, and then there was an after show. I watched most of the debate, part of the after show, probably 5 minutes of the after show. Hang on a second here. I'm going to put this in the clipboard. Hello, other watcher. Are there two watchers? Yeah, we're getting a lot of attention today. And let's see, there were some notable things in the debate, I guess. Well, maybe notable. I don't know how notable Otangelo can get at this point. But one interesting thing was this.
Okay, so what is...
I've not studied that. I've not studied that. I've not studied that.
He said that at least 3 times during the debate. So the interesting thing is that when anyone on the evolutionary biology side says that they don't know something or they haven't studied it, it's called dodgeball. But Otangelo is using it several times during this debate, and appropriately. I mean, it is very fair, and I rather like the way he did it. It's just I've not studied that. I don't know. I can't comment on that. We have to comment on things that we share. So that is interesting. Did I put the link up there? I did for the StreamYard thing, so anybody can join me. But that was one interesting thing. And David Neff mentioned the Dover trial, and let's see what else. David Neff had a counterpoint that cells are not machines. You know, Otangelo's whole thing is I'm a machine designer. I understand machines. I know how machines are made, irreducible complexity. So he said, basically, David said cells are not machines, and Otangelo said...
Before you ask, David, I would like to reply to your point that you made that life reproduces while machines, human-made machines, do not. Okay. Now, also DNA replication, which is what you are addressing now, is an irreducible complex system. In prokaryotes, we have 30 proteins which have to work in a joint.
Okay, so his reply to cells are not machines is to go ahead and talk about a cell, to talk about the DNA replication, and to boldly assert, as he does almost everywhere, that everything is irreducibly complex. His argument for things being irreducibly complex are blah, 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 blah. You know, blah, blah, blah. It's like he goes ahead and talks about the complexity of the cell, which is exactly why they're not machines. So he sort of self-defeats himself, and hi, Brainbug. I did put a link up there for anybody who wants to join me, because Mutable's not going to join me this morning, and I really don't have a lot to say. But let's see, Otangelo, and then he goes on this long diatribe right here about...
Chlorophyll is the molecule which is as an energy in the solar panels. It captures the light, then it funnels the ATP synthase to make...
So then he goes ahead and he talks about photovoltaic, like solar panels and the entire system. And he goes on for quite some time. And then he talks about photosynthesis. And he again says it's irreducibly complex without exactly coming up with an argument for that. And on the, let's see, the Dover trial, David Neff brought up the Dover trial. In the Dover trial, they had a Christian judge that was convinced that things are not irreducibly complex. But then Otangelo just refutes that with...
Yes, I would like to share the screen.
A cat's board.
Say some things and address them about what David said in his reply. Can you guys see my shared screen?
Not yet. Now again. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And this entire counter on that is ask any real scientist if he thinks the best way to proceed is to do it in court. And that's about all they have. But the trial, made a lot of points. So anyway, the whole thing was pretty much Otangelo claiming, the other thing he did is he claimed that macroevolution is impossible, that we've never observed it. We've only observed microevolution, which is a Kant-Hovind argument. And I didn't really find anything from Otangelo that was actually worth addressing. The after show, Sal Cordova ran it on his channel. And of course, he's talking about nihilase. And I went and looked into the nihilase a little bit, and they think the nihilase mutation was caused by a frame shift with the insertion, I think, of a cysteine, or I can't remember, maybe it was a threonine. But anyway, it was a de novo gene that started digesting these very small sections of nylon. Once nylon breaks down to a certain point, like an oligo, they call it, I believe, a kind of a short protein or short polymer, then the nihilase breaks it down. And Sanford and Cordova wrote a paper, which is kind of an odd paper because I'm not sure if it was ever published. And I'm kind of mad at Sel because in the middle of that paper, he has, I think, 30 pages of a list of all the bacteria that they found similar sequences with this nihilase gene, which is exactly what we would predict. I haven't read the paper, but I want to look into that a little more. But the weird thing about nihilase is the only papers out there, like 9, maybe 7 out of 10 papers out there are about Christians and creationists, which is kind of odd. There's only one paper that I found that's actually about nihilase. And the other, one that is in Sal Cordova and Sanford, who wrote 2 papers. So it's really interesting that there's hardly any information about this genome out there. And it's something that maybe I'll look into if I get time. But anyway, so what else is happening? Let's see. Lena P-A-U, commented a little bit. And is that a she? I'm not sure. Reading a book by Nessa Carey on junk DNA. And I did a thing on junk DNA with Ian Chen. And the upshot of all that is if you say that DNA is junk, or if you say DNA is functional, you already don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're already off base. Somebody come in here and help me. Come on, guys. When are you guys must be ready for prime time, right? Anyway, as soon as you say functional or junk, you already don't know what you're talking about. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Because the whole thing is so much more complicated than that. And let's see what else. I went on Standings for Truth channel and just made a comment about, what was it about? I don't even fucking remember. I lost my train of thought right now. Too early in the morning. I wish you could too, Molecular. I haven't talked to you for a while. But Brainbug, you want to pop in? Scott? Anybody? Stop in, say hi. Nope. I'm at work. Scott's at work. Everybody. What is this work thing you talk about? Work? Someday I'll have a job again. Someday soon. Someday before May, I'm going to have a job, and it's going to be brutal. Aha! I got a victim. Victim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah. Functional means protein coding. Yeah, functional is just not a good word when it comes to the genome, nor is junk a good word. So anyway, did you watch that debate last night with David and Otangelo?
I only caught a little bit of it. I was kind of stuck on Rage's channel for a while, listening to their open, mic conversations, and so I actually had that on my list to watch, but I only caught probably a good half an hour at the very end of it,
Yeah. The list of things to watch keeps growing. I don't have time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I've told you in the past that I've been off work for a while, but I'm going back to work really, really soon. So that's going to really limit my time.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I've got to go out and get a contract here. It's the pandemic has kind of affected programming a little bit, but not a whole lot. A lot of companies are trying to switch over to remote workers, and they don't all know how. But we'll find something. But I've been working remote since last February, I think. The company I was working for, a real big company, they very quickly emptied their entire office building, 6,000 people, and sent them all home.
Yeah.
They responded real well. And then in Minnesota, our numbers have we're getting 1,500 to 2,000 cases a day. And we were at 400 back in August a day.
Right.
And now it's just really kicked up. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah. I mean, you're into the flu season. And so it's expected,
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about this isolating is I don't even want to get a flu shot because I don't think I'm going to catch the flu.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Should have thought of this a long time ago, wearing a mask and all that stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, I did watch some of the debate. I probably touched on this with you a little bit. I don't get a chance to talk to too many people, but SFB, I know he's been receiving a little bit of attention the past several weeks. The big thing with him and Smokey and all that. So,
God, that guy.
I don't know why he just rubs me. I'm triggered by him. I don't know why. There's something.
Well, have you ever gone to a bar and sat down and there's a big bullshitter there?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of probably what kind of triggers you is, or at least me anyway, is he just bombards the chat with so many comments and just ridiculous comments. So that's kind of what makes you want to respond, So
all scientists, no scientists are atheists.
Yeah, it's just
Einstein was a Christian. All this bullshit. It just goes on and on and on. And it's what else does he come up with? God, he is just, and then he's constantly talking about this confusing work history of his, where he talks about doing quantum mechanics and being a quantum physicist and working in quantum mechanics for his job at TI and a bunch of other stuff that really doesn't check out. Kind of a big bullshitter. So the ultimate BSer of the brain trust. But boy, is he everywhere, and he's on every stream, and he's allowed, and you'll find him on almost every stream. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see him all the time. I mean, and I constantly, a lot of times I'll check out these streams and I'll sit there and listen for a little bit, and the bullshit that they say, I just almost, I'm pulling my hair out, and I can listen to it for 5 minutes, and then I have to leave. I have to do something else because I just can't stand it. It's just like you said, it's just nothing but bullshit.
Yep.
And SFB, he's constantly bringing up the Christian Science method. Do you have any idea what the hell that is? Is that actually like you pray, or what is he actually referring to?
What did he say? How did he put it?
He calls it the Christian scientific method.
Never heard of this.
I actually tried to look it up.
Right.
And there's technically no such thing. You can see Christian Science or Christian,
right?
And that's it. It's and basically it's you pray. was what.
Where did he bring? Was that last night on the debate that he brought that up, or is this?
I've seen him bring that up many, many times. He says it in chat constantly. Whenever any type of scientific, anything about science, well, you're not using the Christian scientific method. He constantly puts that in chat.
What in the fuck is that?
Right. There isn't such a thing. I mean, truly, in the technical sense, it's typical made up bullshit,
Maybe he means that, things that we can observe happen today.
Right. When he talks about, right, like I said, he just bombards the chat with, side chat with so many things. And yes, and he's discussed those things on, what his view is, what he thinks, whenever he talks about evolution, it has to be observable in real time. Like you can't, so, and he claims that evolution is, you can't do that with evolution, which is absolutely not true. It's been observed. It's, it has predictions. It has all those things. So he's just full of shit.
what we haven't seen is we haven't seen a fish grow limbs and crawl out of the water. And if we did see that, we'd be like, holy shit, I think I'm going to convert to Christianity because fish. Yeah. I mean, Jesus was in the fish, right?
Right.
I mean, if one just grew limbs and crawled out of the water, I'd be pretty fucking impressed. The problem is that people think that this, the science of biology, they think that somehow we can look at imagine a 1 mile square patch of forest in the Superior National Forest, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine all the insects there. For some reason, they think that we're watching all of those insects, that we've sequenced all of their genomes, that we know everything about how, that we can look at them, and if they had evolved, we'd know it. The thing is, there's probably a lot of shit going, like 99.99999% of what's going on in the biome we don't know about yet. And in order to find out, it takes tens of millions of dollars,
Right. There you go. Yeah. There's a perfect example, especially like with a lot of conversations that you've had with Demeter and things, at least some of the things that I got out of it, is there's really not a lot of research. There's only, what did he say, a couple of labs that are actually doing research in it. There's, there are some scientists, but there's very limited amount of funds because most of the funds go into, cancer research and all that. So when you're talking about such a difficult scientific endeavor to accomplish, and you got very little science being done with it, very little scientific, very few labs and not a ton of money and all those things, of course it's going to take forever. I mean, certain things have taken 80 or 100 years to solve. A lot of, certain scientific discoveries have taken that long.
Yeah. So, in order to, what we would have to do is we'd have to, you'd have to do a massive assay or survey of a population of insects, like beetles, okay? Particular kind of beetle. Then you'd have to watch it for anywhere between 10 and 500 years. And you would have to sequence its genome. And then you would have to check to see if these populations somehow got divided by a river or a road or a mining company or whatever. And then you would have to keep sequencing their genomes and studying them over a period of time. And it is possible that we could find something that happened like within maybe 30 or 40 years. But who the hell has done that? We've been sequencing genomes for 15 years.
Right. And why would you even do that? Because, I would
do that.
Evolution is already a fact. I mean, it's a scientific fact. They don't want to accept it. They don't accept the evidence is there. And, scientists aren't going to take the time to do something like that when evolution is a proven fact. They're going to work on different things that have more potential or something that's reasonable.
Is this Mary Baker Eddy group, Christian Science reading?
Yeah, that's exactly what I found.
What is that?
That's just I think she was just like the first person to come up with the Christian Science church, basically.
But that has nothing to do with science, does it?
Well, no, not really. I mean, it was all religion, obviously. I only read a little bit of it, but it was basically, she wrote about, back then, this is back in the 1800s, that diseases or sickness was an illusion, and you could basically pray it away. This, I think, was what I.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess there are a few people that think you. God, I've got some people that are real close to me that are constantly saying things like, "If masks worked, then the pandemic would be over." And I'm like, well, and I pointed out that masks only work if you put them on. You actually have to put them on your face.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's scary when people think that way.
I know.
That's scary, especially in the condition that we're in now with this pandemic. I mean, there's so many of them out there that a lot of them are refusing to wear masks. And,
Before this gets away on me, Icarus, he's in his quantum home office and he had quantum pizza. Everything gets better if you add quantum.
Yeah.
Refreshing diet quantum soda. That's SFB mod.
Yeah.
I have quantum coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, some of the, like I said, he's put so many comments in side chats, and he describes his view on the scientific method in science. And like you said, he talked about, there aren't any atheist scientists. He's completely against peer review. Can you imagine that? He thinks peer review is
really?
Yeah. I mean, that's just completely crazy. That's what gets rid of the bias that people have, correct? I mean, that's the whole point. And yet he's completely against that.
Yeah. So Brainbug says most beetles breed a bit too slow. Do they do it annually? Are they like one generation a year? I don't even know.
I don't think so. I thought there was. Now I'm trying to think. I think there are cycles in them. Like, like those are a certain type of beetle, the Japanese beetle that you have, like you have grubs in your grass and stuff like that. And then they come out and transform into beetles and that type of thing. I thought those may have cycles of different years.
Yeah. Diptera would be better. Things that breed fast, but I mean, it would be interesting to, like, I always wanted to just stake out a section of the forest and just do nothing but do assays and figure out exactly everything that's in there, including what's in the dirt. Like, dirt is really, really interesting stuff. Dirt is like a living system. It's just absolutely amazing.
Right.
We actually have a soil scientist that works for us part-time as a software tester, and she is fun to talk to. But but there's just, the thing is that the reason I believe in evolution is because I kind of understand a little bit about proteins, enzymes, and how they work, and how variable they are, and how ubiquitous they are. I mean, you get these amino acids are like these amazing building blocks, like Legos that you could just throw into a room and they self-assemble into little tiny clusters, and they do things, they start walking around, and shit like that. And when you start understanding it at the molecular level, the atomic level, it becomes more believable, because you can see how something developed. Like you got this massive protein that's like maybe 200 amino acids, not massive, but pretty big. So that's actually kind of small, but it has 200 amino acids and it folds up into like a shape. And that shape, I was talking the other day about that shape has a magnetic surface to it. It has a shape to it, a magnetic shape, and it will stick to other things in a certain way. Well, then inside of that shape, where it folds up, if like maybe 4 amino acids kind of fold so they're in contact, that thing can latch onto like a magnesium ion. And suddenly we have a little molecular machine that can cause a chemical reaction. And that happens all the goddamn time. I mean, there's a lot of there are many, many, many ways for these little machines to form.
And all those types of things are all observable and things that we know that have, that proves evolution is true. To me, I'm in at least in my layman's eyes, that's this. You hear that it brought up that there's more evidence to prove evolution than there is about gravity.
Yeah,
this is just, but they. To me, like I said, it's all about, they just want to attack it to protect their religious belief, which that's completely understandable, but it's, it's just.
So they have a 8-month cycle, but some take years to develop. That's interesting, but still 1 generation a year, you'll see that's 20 times faster than humans, 20 or 30 times faster than humans. So, as far as beetles developing, I have not heard from any Karen at all. Actually, I need to reach out to them and see what's happening. I haven't seen them around. So, Leophilius, modern day debate. What? Oh, Leophilius is posting stuff on his website finally.
Oh, good.
Downloads. He downloaded. I downloaded all his videos for him, and he popped them up there. So I have a clever little download program. I'm having trouble getting transcripts for certain things that I want to go after and take apart. But what else is happening? I'm trying to concentrate on fins to limbs. Fins to fin. The thing is, in order to fight these, I'm thinking of a word, but I'm not going to say it. In order to fight these creationists, you have to put their nose right down into one thing, one mechanism. And I'm thinking fins to limbs is something we know a ton about. How fins develop, how limbs develop. We know a lot of that story. And we know the genomics behind it. And so, but the problem is that I could spend the rest of my life studying this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so much of that's in the, in the fossil record too. I mean, all that stuff, you can see the development of that kind of thing. So there's tons of that. They don't accept that. There's plenty of things that are visual that you can see, but they just throw that all out the window.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I got into yesterday is the human fossils, because I know nothing about paleontology. I know nothing about hominids, and I started going through and looking, and I found a whole bunch of information about all the fossils that we found. And looking into it, and God, there's a lot there. So I learned a little bit about that yesterday, but I really need to get back to fins to limbs. Thing is, I'm spread a little thin.
Yeah. I actually tried to go on. When was it? I don't know if it was last night or the night before. I wanted to maybe jump into one of Otangelo's, talks or whatever, and just have a little chat with him someday. But SFB is in there every single time. He's in there, and he stays in there for 8-9 hours. Like, I keep checking back and forth, and he stays in there. And obviously, I've made so many. I've had so many battles with him on side chat that I don't think it would be a good idea for me to jump into a stream with him being there. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it would go well.
Yeah, I think I might try to go. Otangelo's pretty mad at me yet. He refused to talk to me. He might let me on a stream. I don't know. I might try it. It'd be interesting to try to have a calm conversation with him about one or two things. So
yeah, he's easy to talk to. I mean, obviously he usually, he never jumps into insulting and all that. So he's somebody you can talk to.
Very difficult to reason with him, though.
Yeah. Oh, well, can you reason with any of them? Not
no,
really. Yeah.
No.
So I think that's a common trait, wouldn't you say?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then yesterday, the Rage, Nakasuchi, had Nicholas, Proclaimer of the Messiah, on his channel.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, I watched probably the first third of it, or maybe the first half, and I have something like 30 notes.
Yeah.
Because inquiring minds want to fucking know. What did you think of the whole thing? Did it kind of freak you out?
Well, honestly, the way Nicholas speaks, I mean, it's just gibberish that, there's a lot of preaching that comes out of his mouth. So I just have a tendency to almost tone that out because it's just on and on and on. So it's hard to really even understand what the hell he's even talking about because he jumps all over the place in a lot of preaching. So
there was one place where he said, at the end of it, he said, and I've explained this, or let's see, explain it clearly as I just did. He said he explained something very clearly, but he used the word saved onto good works. Like, preordained good works. He was talking about preordained good works. And then he said, you are saved onto good works. What? And he said that was clear. What the fuck is he talking about?
Exactly. Things like that. You just cannot understand what the hell he's even talking about. There was so many parts of that conversation that was just gibberish. And like I said, I just tone a lot of that out. So he'll make a decent point in amongst that whole mess. And a lot of times you tend to miss it because there's so much gibberish in between. So
and then he was talking about a refining fire of I don't know what the hell that was about exactly, but oh my God, it's just amazing. And then it makes us new. The refining fire makes us new. So he sounds like somebody who really did a lot of things in his life that he's not happy with, that he's really upset about. That he behaved badly. And I can kind of relate to that, being an alcoholic and a drug addict. There's a lot of things you're not proud of that you did.
Right.
But I got a feeling that the things that he's not proud of are probably about 100 times more interesting than the things I'm not proud of.
Exactly. Let me ask you a question. Now, at the very end of that, when finally Rage asked him the question about the whole situation with Batman, and murdering gays and all that, he started to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
And most of it that he talked about was gibberish. Like I said, he just throws in so much gibberish that you're trying to pick out the points that he's trying to make, but there's so much other crap mixed in. Now, did I hear him say that he had, and he didn't use the actual word sexual, but that he had an experience that he would never do again? And I took it as he had a homosexual experience that he would never do again, or did I not hear that correctly?
I haven't gotten that far in the thing, but I was listening to him talk about Batman, and then he said something. He said, "Oh yeah, Batman, shouldn't have said that," or something. And then he said, "But he was really brave for saying it."
And he also, according to Rage, because Rage talked about it after the fact, he and I didn't catch it, but he said, and also John was talking about it, that he said that he would say worse. If he was to talk about it, he would have said even worse things.
Wow.
But I didn't actually hear him say that. But John said it in Rage, talked about it, that's what he said.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know they said that they were going to, they're going to try to set up some more conversations with Nicholas, and they're going to, dive deeper into that. So we'll see if that does happen in the future. But
and then in another part, he said Christians in China are basically persecuted better. They have more persecution, so they're better because they're persecuted more.
What sense does that make?
Well, Christians, they actually want to be nailed onto a cross. I think it's their inner desire. And fuck, that's what this channel's all about, is we want to nail them onto intellectual, figurative crosses.
Right.
We want to persecute the fuck out of them. I mean, they come to the right spot if they want persecution.
Yeah, I saw you wrote in on the chat that you were Christian phobia. Is that what you? I saw that one. Yeah.
Christian phobe or whatever instead of a homophobe.
Right. Yeah.
Because when I listen to these people, my first impression is they are batshit crazy. My second impression is that they are mentally ill. My third impression is that, well, they found salve for they found balm for their itchiness, for whatever's bothering them in life. Christianity is what did he say? This whole being Jesus's slave. I want to ask them, what does it feel like to say I am Jesus's slave? Does it give them a good feeling to be someone's slave?
See, that's. I remember me and you had the conversation not too long ago. That's exactly what I struggle with, because I feel the same exact way. My first impression is they're fucking crazy, and then the second, it's just I have a hard time. But if you think about it, you say, and you look at the person, then you start kind of analyzing the person and say, oh, well, you know what? This person is smart. They're not stupid. But yet they constantly say really stupid things. So it's hard to separate the two, because you think, okay, they really are stupid. How can you be so smart but yet so stupid? But they are. That's what I struggle with, that part of it.
Yeah, a lot of strange there. There was a lot of strange that I wanted to come onto your stream last night, Knock, and talk, but I'm not good when there are 10 people and the conversations are going which way and that. But I really want to talk about this Nicholas thing. I mean, it's like, I wrote a note here. Overall, what I think of Nicholas is, I just wrote, I'm Guts the truth. I'm Guts the truth. I'm the one that's got it.
Yeah, that subject got brought up during my Knox open mic last night. Was about how Christians are talked about as being stupid. I know Gary, the Christian that was in the room last night, that was a subject that was talked about for a little bit.
Yeah, they had a lot of really good conversations last night. And it was that the messenger. He was a very reasonable person. I would like to talk to him, but I don't know. I keep wanting to get Christians like over here in a conversation, and I want to understand things about them. I'm like, I really enjoy going out in the woods and finding an interesting spider and putting it under my microscope. It's that kind of thing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How do you think this way? The thing that really crystallized yesterday in Otangelo, in the debate, and in listening to Nicholas, is that these people they're people that like to be 100% certain of themselves, absolutely sure of themselves.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
And it's interesting, and when they say I'm a slave to Jesus, when you say that, and I understand my 12-step program that I use for recovery, it's all about this giving up your will in a certain way and yielding, like saying, I don't fucking know what's going on, just fucking something out there, give me a clue. When you do that, it's like if you're how do I explain this?
You
if
become
you have
vulnerable.
Well, it's not vulnerable, it's something else. It's a like if you're fighting something like you've got a neighbor who his fucking leaves keep blowing on your lawn, you keep having to rake them up, you fucking hate them, and you develop this big resentment, you got this thing, and you're walking around saying, oh, that son of a bitch, he thinks he's getting me back, and you've got all these thoughts, and then one day you just say, you know what, I'm just fucking tired of thinking about this guy, I give up. And as soon as you give up, like you'll walk out to your mail and a neighbor will come over and say, hey, I'm sorry about the leaves. and all of a sudden, all of the resentment, all of this cogitation and anxiety that you've had, you give it up, you turn it over, you just give it away.
Just goes away. Yep.
Right. And there's a feeling of relief. And so when they think about, oh, I'm going to die, my life sucks, I've been an asshole, I did all these wrong things, I don't know what to do. And they think, I will be a slave to Jesus. I will just give up. And they get this feeling, this great spiritual relief. And it is a fucking bunch of hormones coming from your limbic system in the base of your brain. But they see it as Jesus talking to them. They see it as a personal connection to the Lord.
Now, I've had that experience many times. Like
everybody,
right, exactly,
almost right. There's something you're out there trying to fucking patch your driveway and patch it. It's just not going well, and you say fuck it. And you go in the house and you say and you let it go. It's called letting go.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a wonderful feeling. Well, there are many levels of that, and when you've lived a life where you've been into some really bad shit or drinking or drugs or whatever, and you get wound up to this point to where you're going to have a fucking nervous breakdown. Well, you do have a nervous breakdown, and that nervous breakdown is called letting go. And I don't know. I have actually, I think I'm going to share this with the group. I have been strapped onto a gurney and put in padded rooms several times in my life as a result of having gotten down deep into life, so fucked up that there was nothing else for me to do but to explode and let it go. And I said, fuck it all. And I was hauled off to, various mental institutions and injected with interesting drugs.
But this is what the Christians are afraid of. They don't want to go down that road of thinking that they are actually here for no reason. And that's tough, I guess, to deal with and cope with.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've got to they let go, but then they replace it with belief. And in Zen Buddhism, when you let go, you don't replace it with belief. You just say, I'm just going to chop wood. I'm going to go, I'm going to live my life, and I'm not going to have some belief structure to put it in.
Yeah, that is huge. Purpose and meaning is definitely huge. It's huge with Otangelo. That's definitely, but I know that.
What is wrong with them that they can't get purpose and meaning from hugging their kids?
Right, exactly.
I mean, they were led on a lie from kids. That's the hard part right there. Like, because I was a Christian, and so I can relate easily and think about it. Like, when you were a kid, I was like, at one point when I die, even though I know I will die, at least I'll be going to a good place. And to like train your mind to think that when you die, you're not going anywhere anymore. That you're just a piece of meat, flesh. It's kind of hard to picture that,
Yeah. What the heck?
Yep,
so many Karen popped in. I haven't been paying attention to chat. Anyway, yeah, it's the whole thing about dying. God, I think I've had more anxiety over dying all of my life than the average person. And particularly when I was in my 20s, I didn't think I was going to live to see 24, nor did my friends. And then I tried to end my life a number of times. And I went through this. I mean, I was scared to death to die, yet I tried to die many times. I did my best to speed it up. And it's amazing the process over the course of my life of coming to terms with the fact that I'm going to be dead. And I had these realizations, like, for one thing, every night when you go to sleep, that's what it's like to be dead. When you're in a deep sleep, we die every night and we wake up entirely different people. I mean, we are different when we wake up. Your brain does shit. It makes you different by the time you get up in the morning. That's why you always feel better in the morning. But so, and you come to that, and then you start thinking, what is it that I'm so fucking afraid of? Well, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to order chicken wings 50 more times in my life, or I'm not going to see the end of some series, or I'm not going to have all of this wonderful times in my fucking whirlpool bath, or whatever. I'm not going to, there's all these things and then you realize that what you're doing is you're thinking about shit you can have in the future and ignoring the chicken wings that are right in front of you. You're not enjoying the chicken wings you have because you're so worried about having 50 more helpings, and it's like, and we do that. And that's what they meant by Adam and Eve, by, eating from the tree of knowledge and realizing that we're going to die, that we're finite. And then you start dwelling on it and you project, but fuck, you don't have to do any of that. You can choose at any time to let go and live entirely in the moment. And at that moment, when you completely let go, you have what's called a spiritual experience. And you don't need to fucking dot that I with Jesus, or you don't need to add the belief part to it. So I don't know.
Yep.
Hi, Manny. We were wondering where the hell you were. People were like, where's he been?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you were just talking about speed, like, you can easily let go. And no matter how bad things are, like you said, you've experienced a lot of bad things, and you can easily look at your whole life, and there's always something good there. You always, this pretty much everybody can say you have people that love you that are somewhere in your life, so you always have that, and there's always different things that I'm sure you can find. No matter how bad things are, there are positives there, and then you have to latch on to those positives and build on those, so that's kind of,
and it's like, and why whoever gave us the idea that it all has to be positive anyway, or that it can be, it's like, you learn to accept a little bit of pain and negative in your life. And it's just what's happening. And you don't have to, like, people sit around and think, oh my God, my life sucks. I don't have this, I don't have that. And I don't have, and it's like, whoever fucking told you that you were going to have those things. I mean, why do we feel so entitled to having no pain all the time? Right. I mean,
society.
Yeah, it just kind of, it's kind of like ingrained in us, and it sets us up to lead a life where we're always running. And as Manny says, he who stands with one leg in yesterday and one in tomorrow is peeing on today, which is pretty interesting way to look at it. I don't know. And then this process of letting go, you can actually practice this stuff. And I've been practicing for, pretty much all my life, particularly in the last 14 years. It gets a lot easier to start letting go, like, I mean, I get all wound up about this creationist stuff. And sometimes I go out in the yard and just take my arms and spread them out and say, fuck it all. Did you see the Robin Williams HBO special where he was talking about fuck it all? Like, take Fuckatol. It's like, what, life bothering you? Get a bottle of Fuckatol or whatever. Fuck it all. It's a good drug. Fuck it all.
That's funny. Hey, Nathan, before you go, I hate to change the subject, but I wanted to ask you, me and Speed were just talking about a little while ago with Nicholas's conversation with Knock yesterday. I was, when they started talking about the Batman thing, I swore he said that he had an experience. And he didn't specifically say it was a sexual experience, but I swore he was referring to a possible homosexual experience and that he would never have it again. I swear that's what I
did pick that up.
Did he? Did he say that?
I think so too, because I think Knock asked him about Batman and if he was wrong, and he was making a statement that he did do something that was so bad that if he was to prosecute, that's what I'm guessing from it. If he was to prosecute a gay person, he would be a hypocrite. That's what I got from it.
Exactly. That's what I thought. That's what I kind of wanted to ask somebody else, because I know me and you were chatting a little bit in the, in the side chat, and I didn't want to put that in the side chat. I wanted to ask you, did I hear that correctly? But I didn't want to put that in there, But I swore that's what he said without actually saying it.
Exactly.
I'm at 31 minutes and I have a whole page of notes. I have fucking questions. I was like, what? And like, does this guy live in the same country as us?
Yeah, he's definitely way out there. I mean, not that I care. I could care less if he had that experience or not. But I just wanted to know, did I hear that correctly, or am I, crazy? Like
it's how he's reacting to the experience that is worrying me. I mean,
yes,
fucking experience.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah.
More like he enjoyed it and he's upset that his religion doesn't like. It seems like he's confused.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Oh, you have another one-on-one with Nicholas tomorrow, Knock? Is that what you said? Or you said I had a one-on-one with him tomorrow? You can't have things tomorrow. See, that's what I'm talking about. This fucking future thing. Anyway, you had a one-on-one with him yesterday, but are you having another one? That would be interesting. Anyway, it's Leo. Wait a minute. Okay, God and Cosmology at 2 p.m. CST on Agree to... Oh, you're going to be on Agree to Disagree? How the hell did you pull that off, Leo? That's pretty good. Well, check that out. Do you have a link to the video, Leo? I don't know. Anyway, so what else?
Yeah, Leo's doing very well. He's really going crazy on stuff.
He's going. He's going to have thousands of subscribers in no time.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I almost hate to encourage the fucker. I'm going to have to shoot him.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
He's a smart kid, I do have to say. Very smart kid, and he does well.
Yeah, and he's everywhere. I mean, every stream I go on, there's Leo.
Yeah,
Immutable that way too. He's like SFB mod, Immutable, Leo. You'll see him every fucking place. It's like, what the fuck? These guys are asleep? Apparently not. Who's this other guy? Where do you keep the plug? What? Leo, do you have a link for that debate? Well, I'll find it. Anyway, guys, I don't know. Not much else to say. I'm in the habit of abruptly ending broadcasts, so I think I'm going to end this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great conversation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Real good conversation.
We'll see you guys out there. You publicly listening people. Talk to you later.
Okay, thanks. See you guys.
Okay.